And then we're all set to go, and welcome everyone to The Magic Happens. We're happy that you are back to join us. Myself, Kathy Goggin, I'm a mom, a grandmom, and an entrepreneur. And we have Means Davis, empowering coach, who has agreed to come on. He's going to share more about himself, but he's agreed to come on each week and share some insights and wisdom with all of you that could possibly just add that little spark or thought that may help your week be a little brighter or a little, just a little more sunshine. So Means.
All right, I'll just go ahead and coach and say it's not about a little bit of slide or a little bit better or a little bit anything.
It's a lot.
What you want. It's like everything. Have it all. Have it all.
Okay. Now catch that, guys. Limited thinking and abundance thinking. I want you to catch that.
It's a little different. It's a little different, you know, and it really, the amazing part about it is that it is a tiny little shift, little bit of a small tweak in the way we think or the way we speak that makes the huge difference. And we're going to talk about the butterfly effect, you know, in a future session, like how a small action can have huge results. But anyway, so my name is Means Davis, and I am the founder of Empowered Enterprises International. And for the past 30 years or so, I've had the honor and privilege of working with individuals and organizations to have them clarify their vision and then put a plan in place so that you actually fulfill on that vision. How do you fulfill? How do you bring that vision into reality? So I've worked with mom and pop at the kitchen table all the way up to Fortune 100 companies, the government agencies, nonprofits, basically anyone who has a vision. I love to support in the fulfillment of that vision. How do we bring it into reality? And how do we bring it into reality with fun instead of the struggle and the suffering and the hardship and the creating that it's going to take me 5 years of suffering before I can be happy. It's going to be 20 years of no profits until I can finally make a profit. No. Can't tell you the number of times people have shown up in front of me and gone, okay, so I'm going to create this business, and for the first 5 years we'll lose money, and then it's going to be really profitable from there on out. And I'm like, don't bring me a plan about 5 years of, you know, suffering, struggle, no money, no nothing. It's like, hey, open doors and start making money now. That's the kind of plan you want to create. Especially when you're just planning. Don't plan for what you don't want. Right? Don't create what you don't want. And that's a lot of what we talked about last week about this not being a practice life. Right? We talked last week, said that, you know, there are two ways of looking at it. One is that this is not a practice life. It's not in preparation for something else. Right? Like your life is going to start next week. But it's on the other side, it's not, it is all a practice life. Like moment by moment by moment, we're practicing something, practicing something, practicing something. A little different, you know, interpretation of the word practice, but like really looking at what do you want to be practicing now, because it creates what you want. It's all about our consciously choosing in every moment based on our commitments and the results we want to produce. So as we bring conscious choice to every moment, we learn, we expand, we grow, and that can be uncomfortable. You know, when we started the call, it's like, all right, I don't have the preparation. I didn't have this. I didn't get prepared. I didn't do all of this stuff. I didn't do all of that, you know, and it should be that way. So my ego immediately goes into judgment that, okay, so it's not working. Something's wrong. I should have had it. It should be some other way. Rather than looking at our circumstances and saying, wow, okay, now what do I want to use these circumstances for? How do I want to use these circumstances? You know, but it's very uncomfortable when we first start. So we're talking about being comfortable and uncomfortable because that's a core human being piece, is we want to be comfortable, right? I don't want to be uncomfortable. I want to be uncomfortable. So we find ourselves having to push and pull and twist ourselves to find that sweet spot of comfort inside of growth and expansion. Like, how do I do that? And we keep moving and keep trying to make it hard work. So old actions and habits that no longer produce sufficient results or the desired results are now coming up for us to look at and say, wow, that doesn't serve. That doesn't serve in what I'm committed to, in what I want to be producing. So the results that we want begin to change. So the actions to produce those results begin to change. And then our circumstances start to begin to change. And that can be a 1, 2, 3 moment, or it can be a 1, 2, 3 year, or it can be 1, 2, 3 decades for our circumstances to completely align with what we're committed to. Because our desired results shift. It changes. I take an action, I produce a result, I've got new circumstances. Now I have new opportunities. So now I get to say, wow, what do I want to produce now? What do I want to create now? So we look at that comfortable and uncomfortable, and we start to actually use that as an indicator of where we are and where to look next. So that if I'm uncomfortable, I look and see and I say, instead of something's wrong, or oh my gosh, it's broken, oh, mine's not working, right? And instead of that, we start saying, okay, so if I'm uncomfortable, I'm in growth, I'm in expansion. This is the way it's supposed to be. This is where I'm moving forward. And when we're comfortable, it means that we're not in that growth space, right? So being comfortable is like, okay, I'm lying back, just letting stuff happen, whatever, right? And uncomfortable is, okay, so what can I do with it? What can I do with it? What can I do with it? What can I do with this? What do I want to do with this? What am I committed to? It's a discomfort, because ego wants us to sit back and just say, okay, so we can't do anything about it, being resigned about the world, right? That's a very, very comfortable place because we don't have to do anything. So actually, we get to a place where we're recognizing that we want change. And then we immediately kick in with, I don't want to change. It's too much work. It's too hard. There's too many other things. The world doesn't agree with me. The world is not set up with that, like that, right? This is not the way everybody else lives. And so I can't live that way, right? So we're looking at how the comfort and discomfort shows us whether we're in action. So I say that I get very uncomfortable when I'm comfortable, because it says that, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything to cause my life, to make my life be what I want it to be. So I'm actually uncomfortable being comfortable. And the reverse is really weirdly true. I'm very comfortable being uncomfortable, because I know that that's my growth and development. I'm in action, producing the results that I'm committed to. My circumstances are beginning to change. And I recognize how, oh, don't change. Yes, change, because the old way isn't what I said I wanted. It no longer matches my vision. So we're looking at that comfort and discomfort to recognize where we are on the journey. This moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. Am I comfortable? Am I comfortable because I'm uncomfortable, or am I comfortable because I'm sitting back and not in action? So the shift in interpretation is to have it be that the uncomfortable feeling around change is actually a signal that we are growing and developing, learning and expanding. We could shift our interpretation of change from something fear-based, something's wrong, this is hard, it's going to get worse, to something empowering. This is a sign of my growth and development. This is the sign of my growth and expansion. And as we practice moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, choosing our actions based on our commitments and the results we want to see, we start to develop a muscle for it. So that while the choice doesn't become automatic, consciously choosing does. I'm going to say that again. While the choice doesn't become automatic, the consciously choosing does. And that's where, when we're saying, God, this needs to get easier, that's the ease comes from that we are consciously choosing, and it's becomes an automatic to consciously choose, consciously choose, consciously choose. The discomfort of growth starts becoming comfortable.
And what
So
happens
as we,
there is you see a lot of celebration, I think. I remember years ago I was asked to get up to public speak, and it was a fear of mine. I literally failed public speaking in high school. So I had a lot of fear around it. But when I got up, just as you're saying, and I did something that was so uncomfortable, but I did it and I did it and I did it. And then it became comfortable and I loved it and I enjoyed it. And there's still always that little edge getting up in front, but it just flows. And after, you do feel that expansion and celebration because you did something that maybe you thought you couldn't do. For me, I thought I couldn't do it. And then when I did it, you say, well, if I could do that, I could do this and this and this and this. I just supported someone yesterday doing an event who it was uncomfortable and she did it beautifully. And then we could just so celebrate what happened. And it's beautiful to see when it happens to you. And it's so beautiful to see when it's happening with someone else, to celebrate. It truly is expansion of oneself. It really is.
yeah, and I love that you brought the celebration piece in, because it really is about creating moments of celebration.
Yeah.
Create those moments of celebration. Create this and now and now and now. Now celebrate. If we start looking for things to celebrate, we will find things to celebrate.
Okay, huge. That's huge.
Right? Well, we've said it before. Human beings find what we look for. That's what we see is what we're looking for. So if we look for moments of celebration, things to celebrate, that's what we're going to see. If we look for things that are, disempowering or sad or, suffering and struggle and sacrifice, you're going to find those. The universe is abundant. So there is plenty of evidence for whatever you look for. Choose what you look for. Are you looking for your growth and development? Or are you looking for your resignation, stagnation, suffering?
Yeah. And these are not just words. These are not just words.
That's why we say that this is not about the information. This is
Right?
actually about open up, right? Listen, hear, experience. Really, just wake up and start consciously choosing what is important to me and what is an action that's in alignment with that. What action is aligned with what I'm committed to? And just take that and let all the other thoughts, all the other chatter in your head, just let it go, because you're going to have plenty more later. So you don't have to worry about losing that one little voice of chatter that says, oh my gosh, this is going to be hard. It'll come back, I promise. No matter how much work you do, you will always have that little voice that comes in and tells you, oh, this is going to be hard. We're going to suffer. Oh, don't do that. Don't grow. Don't expand. It's much safer to stay in here and stay small, where all of our suffering is known. And it's the same suffering over and over and over and over and over again. So we're used to it. Instead of saying, okay, so now what do I want? Now what do I want to create? Now what do I want to create? And the discomfort of that, again, starts shifting into being the signal that you are on the path. Being the signal that, yes, it's like a milestone on the side of the road that says, yes, you were on the road and this is the way we're going. And you're making progress. Instead of stopping on the road and going, oh, well, there's the mile marker. That's it. That's not the destination. I'll never get there. Go for the next mile marker. Go for the next one. And start playing with being comfortable and uncomfortable, noticing where comfort is, where the discomfort is, and identify what story you're telling yourself about that has you be comfortable or uncomfortable. Because that's the source of the comfort or discomfort, is the story that we're telling ourselves about what we're up to and our desires, our goals, our dreams. Are we progressing or not? It's all our story, our interpretation.
That's what story? Because we're all telling ourselves different stories.
Yeah, it's our own story.
It's our own story.
Yeah, based on what we've experienced before, and we've made up our mind that that's what's so. That this means that, that means that, that means that, that means that. If we can interrupt that flow and create an empowering interpretation, then we're going to be empowered. It sounds so simple, and it is, but it's not easy until you've practiced it. And the more practice you have, the easier it gets, the more comfortable you get in that discomfort, and the more uncomfortable it is to be comfortable. Comfortable, uncomfortable, comfortable, uncomfortable, all the way through.
It's a great awareness for this week for everyone, for anyone who, and you know what, you're kind of going to laugh at it as you see it happen this week. When you're feeling uncomfortable, you'll have that aha moment if you've listened to this, and celebrate it.
Yes, celebrate it, celebrate it, have fun with it.
Through it, yeah.
Yes, have fun with it, right? Because this is like, wow, look at what I do. Look at what I've been doing, and look at what I want to do. It's the opposite. Huh. Interesting.
Very.
All
Thank you, Means.
right. You are welcome.
I don't know about everybody out there, but this was perfect for me today for sure. Thank
Good.
you.
You are
Thanks
very, very
everyone
welcome.
who joined us, and we hope you could join us next week. We'll put the links if you've missed any previous ones and you'd like to hear the information that Means has shared. Just you could go to his website or my website. We'll put those links underneath the video. We hope this information can help you in some big
way.
Have a great day.
All right, everybody. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.